Legends of Khampiohn: The Genesis Era, a non-profit D&D fan-based audio drama, written by Brad J. Taylor and D.T. Prater. Inspired by the unpublished works of Ruechelle Hill. Chapter 5: Encroaching Darkness.
Freshly caught fish every hour on the hour. Try our filleted ichthyosaur steaks. Too large, juicy and tender for only one talent.
I love a good market day. So many delicious smells. Oh, I hope they have that stall that sold those fruit drinks from Ketza. What are they calling those again?
Smoothies, I believe.
Should we get an offering or something from the temple?
Already sent it ahead this morning.
Do the clerics of Atreyu still take offerings from hunts?
Ordinarily, yes. But with everything that has happened recently, they're more happy to take a gift of seeds so they can replant the areas that were destroyed in the conflict.
It's hard to imagine that this marketplace was the epicenter of such a conflict. It's positively thriving.
The thing about Emerald is that it always comes back stronger.
Long live the Empire. So we know where the Alvairn were, but what happened with Ckegdromas? And what was Infernos doing all this time?
My, aren't we keen? Well, it had been roughly 2 weeks now since Ckegdromas opened the portal for Atreyu to escape. Conjuring that portal left Ckegdromas in a severely weakened state, and they were captured by Vypus and taken to his personal holding center, deep in the heart of the stone fortress that the renegade titans had erected from the earth to fit his diabolical purpose.
What happened to them?
They were subjected to all the tortures Vypus could utilize.
What was Vypus hoping to achieve?
As you know, the Ckegdromas was a duality of spirits, finely balanced between the bardic bringer of joy and music, and the dealer of punishment to those who broke the laws of the Creator. Now, while Vypus had no use for the bard, he saw the potential in the power of the Punisher, and wanted to take it and repurpose it for his own personal vendetta.
What could the Punisher do that Vypus was impressed by?
The Punisher was able to manifest their target's deepest fears and turn them into a living terror. Weaponize them, if you will. Vypus wanted to imbue his creations with this ability, but enhance it so that even their target's most positive attributes could be corrupted and turned into their worst enemies.
What was Vypus's plan? The creations were terrifying as it was. I mean, we've seen them. They really didn't need to be any more terrifying, surely.
Vypus was perhaps the most dangerous of the renegades, more so than Infernos. You see, whilst Infernos was misguided by a twisted desire to prevent the mortal races from taking the Ark-world, Vypus coveted something more. He wanted to take the throne of the Creator, not for himself, but for his master.
Who was his master?
None other than the Cold One himself. The one we know as the Dark Bringer.
The being that nearly decimated us all 10 years ago?
The very same. Even then, from its prison in the cold sun, the Darkbringer's influence could still reach a fearfully long distance.
I imagine Ckegdromas didn't give up so easily, right?
The thing about an enigma is that it's very hard to figure out. Ckegdromas was the greatest enigma, and was very hard to break.
Never gonna give it up. Never gonna break me down. Never gonna take the crown. So screw you. Didn't realize it was hammer time.
Lord Vypus, the enigma keeps singing at me. We are making no progress.
That's not strictly true. You're progressing in the mess you're making.
I tire of your japes. Perhaps I should tear out your tongue and vocal cords. I don't need them for what I have planned anyway.
Do what you like, snake. I'll never give you what you want to take. I'll soon die and comply. You are not my creator. I owe you nothing.
There's more than one way to break a bard. Believe me. I can think of all kinds of deliciously painful methods. Maybe we've been going too easy on you.
You're gonna get annihilated. Did you know that? Okay, it's finished with you. How does it feel to know that even Infernos is getting a lighter punishment than you?
Yes, much too easy. You there, fetch Fathora. Tell her to bring the invention.
Are you certain, my lord? It hasn't been tested.
Who is it you serve exactly?
You, my lord. But I...
You what? Huh? I seem to be having trouble hearing you over the sound of your larynx being crushed. Do you like your current body? Maybe you'd like to be a volunteer for the Fell Titan Forge.
No, my lord.
Then do me a favor and fetch Fathora and the invention. Unless you'd like to be the one I tested on.
At once, Lord.
Have you ever stopped to count the amount of knives that are going to be in your back, I wonder? Oh, so many.
When I'm finished with you, I'll have the last ingredients in making an army of such immense power, even Infernos wouldn't stand a chance of standing against me. This world is going to burn, and after that, any world that does not bend the knee to my master will become a hollow shell, as its very essence is drained away. After that, we'll take the Haven, and I will be finally celebrated and treated with the accolades I deserve! Now, we can do this the easier way, whereby you can just give me the power of the Punisher, and I can just let you go on your way. Or my preferred choice. We can do it the hard way, and I take the power by force and destroy whatever is left. And trust me, that would be a mercy.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you just nod along? I must have missed it.
Hard way it is. I must say, you have my respect. 2 weeks for anyone else would probably have killed them by now. You're indeed quite the impressive specimen.
You know, they're coming for you, right? Oh, we are in so much trouble.
Lady Fthora. My lord.
You called, Vypus?
Did you bring it?
I still don't understand what purpose this whole... whatever this is serves. How does any of this help my beloved save this world?
Never mind all that. Have you brought it?
Give us what we need. And this doesn't have to happen.
Oh dear, Fthora. I remember you. I remember the young Titan girl who used to dance to my songs and take joy in her work. You were so very in love with this world. Whatever happened to her?
She had her eyes opened to the true nature of mortals. Destructive, greedy, unthankful. Across the multiverse, they wage wars, seek power beyond what they have been given, learn new ways to kill each other, and decimate their worlds. For what? To be given chance after chance and still turn back to their old ways? It's about time we stop them. But you, your allies, the loyalists of Alkai, won't accept that. No matter how many worlds, no matter how many chances they are given, they will never change.
And yet, here you are, doing the exact same thing as those you would claim to be saving the world from. You're so set in your vendetta that you are willing to break me apart, just so that you can use the Punisher's power to enhance these abominations.
Can't you see? We're just trying to do what is right by this world and by our people.
You may think what you're doing is right, but Alkai judges your motives. He judges your defiance and what you do to achieve your goals. But he can and will forgive you. Just turn away from your hatred, turn back to his love. Don't do this.
I have no choice. I can't. I won't let yet another world fall into their wicked hands.
We always have a choice, but if you do this, there's no turning back.
Maybe I don't want to turn back. Maybe I don't want to see more of these worlds destroyed.
The rebellion your beloved started has already done that. Every step you have taken has opened up the door for the great enemy. Inch by inch, he steps closer and closer. He comes. First this world, then others. Oh, my creator, I have tried.
Oh, how very touching. I think I almost cried. Oh, no, wait. That's just my impatience. Fthora, you want Infernos to be proud, yes? Then get on with it.
Fthora produced a small orb, flowing with a dark energy. An energy that exuded pain, torment, and sorrow. As she placed the item on a nearby makeshift altar, it began to hum with malice.
The energy from the Shadow Realm?
In part, yes. But it was also mixed with the energy that Fthora took from her father. The energy of the Crucible of Spirit.
One of the pillars of creation? How did she get her hands on that?
When she murdered her father and took his power for her own, she also stole away with the Crucible.
So that's how she was able to conjure the dead. What is the Crucible exactly?
In its pure form, it was a conduit for the souls of the dead. A way in which they could be carried back to the Creator or be reborn. Now corrupted by Fthora's dark deed, it was a way in which souls could be transferred into Vypus's creations. But that was not the only item she had.
The invention?
Yes. an orb crafted into the shape of a heart. It was called the Dark Heart, and was to be the method for capturing Ckegdromas' power of punishment and replicating it en masse.
The heart from the stories. The reason for the Heart War.
The very same. Though, at this time, it was merely a way of imbuing Vypus' abominations with the power of the Punisher.
Not so smug now, are we, my dear Enigma? But Thora, if you'd be so kind as to activate the artifact.
With the artifact in place, Thora conjured her corrupted spiritual energy and began to raise the power of the Crucible. As the Crucible hummed to life, the orb began to pulsate in the same way a heart does. Faster and faster, louder and louder, until all other sound was drowned out and replaced with the beat. Then, as if it reached its dreadful crescendo, a beam of dark energy cascaded forth, passing through the Crucible and deep into the chest of Ckegdromas.
You feel that, right? That's the feeling of your spirit being split in two and being torn from your body. Willing or not, it makes no difference. The power of the Punisher will be mine, and it shall make my creation unstoppable! The way you describe that, it's harrowing. I can't imagine the pain. Even the strongest of my mother's people would have trouble enduring that.
It was said that every Titan and Alvairn felt Ckegdromas' pain as their soul was ripped in two. Even Infernos felt the tremor, and he had just arrived in the far north of Galhart, with his new companion laying waste to a small band of loyalists as they went.
Take me to your side, for I have walked the path to your glory. Against the taint.
Don't feel too bad.
Of the
You
cold
tried your best. You can tell Al-Kai that.
I
Take pride.
have
You died a good death.
give him
Given all for nothing.
Stop playing around. There is work to be done.
Contrary to your ego, I do not answer to you. Do not think you can command me like one of your underlings.
Then do not think that I will stand for your nonsense. I have a purpose to fulfill, and I will not tolerate those who stand in my way. Just because the Cold One sent you does not mean that I owe you.
Let's not forget why I was sent. Because you failed at the gate of creation, and if you want your so-called glorious purpose fulfilled, you will not cross me. Now I believe we're done here. We move south. I feel that my dear Vypus is making a very interesting breakthrough with his task.
What task?
You'll see soon enough.
This Ada, who was she exactly?
Once she was a primal titan of the air, though her name was different then. For many moons before she became Ada, she was called Oruda, and she was devoted to protecting life in all its forms. She loved all of Alkai's creations, but most of all, she loved a particular planet in a faraway galaxy that was called Terra Firma.
Terra Firma? I don't believe I've ever heard of that planet.
Legend has it was the original Ark world, and the first world gifted to the mortal race of humans. Oruda was so pleased when Alkai gave her wardenship over this world, and served it diligently for many years, until the humans did the one thing that sealed their fate.
What was that?
They were given everything they could ever want or need, with only a simple instruction to not eat the fruit of a single tree. Only because Alkai knew that was a deliberate attempt by the Devourer to try and corrupt them, they disobeyed and became corrupted. Over time, as the humans grew in numbers, they became greedy, jealous, and hateful towards each other. Wars ravaged their world, and it became tainted. As she watched, Oruda fell into despair. It was then through her growing anger that the Devourer tempted her to turn against Alkai and the humans. She became corrupted and unable to ignore her actions against the humans. Alkai stripped her of her power and banished her into the cold sun of our solar system, along with the Devourer.
And I assume that's when she became Ada.
A fitting name. It means diabolical one, or more simply, poisoner. Her power over air was now twisted into an ability to poison the very breath of a foe from within their lungs.
And now she was set free again. Was that because of the war?
When so much death and despair is in one place, it weakens the veil that separates the material plane from the other planes that exist alongside it. It also weakens the bonds that keep the great enemy contained. Unable to escape himself, the Devourer instead sent her to weaken the veil even more. Whilst feigning allegiance to Infernos and his misplaced idea of saving the world from mortals.
So, all of this, the rebellion, the destruction,
all insidiously planned out the moment Infernos and the Titans of Fire began their work on the Ark world. And even now, Vypus's experiments, Vithora's murder of her father, and the theft of the Crucible of Souls, Ckegdromas' torture, Chronotrus' weakened state, all pieces put into place by the Cold One. But one thing the enemy hadn't planned for was currently being armed for the greatest act of the entire conflict.
What was that?
Well, to get there, we must tell the tale of what happened in the meantime. Ah, here we are. The Temple of the White Stag. Remember to show respect at the altar before going further in.
Welcome to the temple, High Archivist. We received your donation and letter. Please, do come in.
Thank you. This is my successor. He's come to learn more about the story of Atreyu from those who continue his works.
We've heard a lot about you from our brothers and sisters in Pendraig. Your piece on the Jade Champions was exceptional. The way you brought life to the tale, especially the fall of Draver Bloodbane. Now I can see where you get your passion from.
I didn't realize word had reached all the way back here. Thank you. I had a good teacher.
I told you. Word travels faster than you realize when you make such an impact. May Alkai bless this life and all others that exist by his will.
Talking of impact, you were saying earlier about things that happened that the Cold One wasn't expecting.
Certainly. Well, as you know, Ckegdromas had been captured. Infernos was nearing where Vypus and Prater were, and the Alvairn were just reaching the eastern coast of Galhard. So already, things were beginning to move into place for another showdown. Only this time, Chronotris knew that his allies were about to face something truly horrifying. He had seen a great battle in visions over the last few weeks, a battle more harrowing than anything before. He knew that it would be his last battle. Also, he knew that Isirathon and Ckegdromas would also be changed by the upcoming struggle. But the most harrowing vision of all was the vision that told of the death of one of his company.
Whose death did he see?
At first, it was unclear. He merely knew that it was going to happen, and feeling the surge of pain from Ckegdromas through the link that all heavenly beings share, he decided he would not dwell on the vision. Rather, he would focus on saving those he could, and whatever was to be. It was according to the will of Alkai.
Chronotris? You felt it, didn't you? What was that? I've never felt so much agony.
We all felt it, sister. Like someone's soul was being split apart and dragged out of them.
I only ever felt this once before, when Centennial fought the great enemy and had to duplicate themselves to overcome it.
No, this feels different. Centennial did that willingly. This feels forced. More like being clawed to pieces.
There's only one common factor between what the Centennial did and this. It's the same energy. The only energy powerful enough to pull apart something's essence. The crucible of spirit. Which means
Our enemy must have it, and is using it on one of our own. The only one that has the same duality as Centennial. Ckegdromas. We must move quickly. Alvairn, we head west with all haste. Be ready for battle.
You heard the Lord Warden. Assault speed for Ckegdromas, for Atreyu, for Alkai!
Swift as the wind, the company raced forward. Soon they came to the outskirts of central Galhard, and the atmosphere changed into a deep and foreboding darkness. It was almost as though the night had fallen very suddenly, and the very land around them seemed to press down with an ominous heaviness.
What kind of place is this? I don't remember Galhard being so dark.
This isn't right. Galhard was a lush land, rolling trees and flowers. Where are the creatures? Deer, Vogriffs, great bears. Not even the birds are singing here.
And the light. Not a single ray of the young sun seems to touch here. It's covered in shadow and mist.
Vypus, doing no doubt. This place is cursed. It feels like the Shadow Realm itself has taken over.
How is that even possible?
Whatever happened here, it split apart the veil. What has that lunatic done?
Stand ready, warriors of Alkai. The shadow hides a darker foe.
All around them, the sounds of ominous shrieks and bestial growls grew. and the feeling of unease became overwhelming. The warriors closed ranks and prepared for combat.
Like what we heard before that Fell Titan showed up?
Yes, although now it sounded like an army of Fell Titans, along with innumerable shadow beasts.
Shadow beasts?
For a moment, consider the darkest fears you can imagine, then multiply them 1,000-fold. Now, imagine every single one of them as a material form, much like you or I, though much more feral. Creatures like the Ruechelle, but in their purest form.
The minions of the Devourer? Those fiendish spirits that possessed the undead in the last war?
See? Now this is exactly why I want you to succeed me. You have such fantastic knowledge. The Ruechelle were creatures made in the catalyst of every race's greatest fears. But the Shadow Realm harbors more than just creatures of fear. The Shadow Realm is made up of every negative energy in the multiverse. Fear, doubt, hatred, lust, envy. And all have the potential to become a physical manifestation. That is only a part of what was closing in on the company.
Alvairn! To arms!
Shadow fiends? How did they break through here?
Vypus, no doubt! Slay the foul beasts where they stand!
Archers, loose at will! Titans, unleash the Creator's wrath!
Foul abominations, you shall not pass. Alkai as my witness, you will be destroyed.
Alkai, grant us victory. Do not falter.
For Alkai!
As their ranks closed into formation, almost all at once the Alvairn and the Loyalist Titans were beset on all sides by the monstrous forms of the Fell Titans and their Shadow Beast allies. Ear-splitting screams of unbridled rage emitted from 1,000 mouths in unison as the abominations charged forth towards their prey.
Dragons!
Numenel Ckegdromas.
You hungry? Have a feast of lightning, you mangy nutsies!
Shield wall! Spears out!
Close up those lights!
Let not one damn herd pass by.
Return to shadow, dark harbinger!
How did these creatures end up in this world? I know the Fell Beasts were made by Vypus, but how did all these Shadow Beasts come to be in the world?
Vypus had been researching into the different realms of existence when he first tried to make his Alpha race.
The reason he was banished?
Well, that was only part of the reason. He had found that other worlds had multiple realms. At first, he tried to tap into the raw creation energy of the wild realm, but found it to be far too unpredictable. It was then that he happened upon the Shadow Realm, a bleak, desolate place, filled with all the negative energies of the material plane. The perfect energy to utilize and embed in his alpha race.
He wanted to use something like that? Why?
Because he had long been of the view that Alkai should reconquer the worlds that had already been created. After all, many of the races that inhabited these worlds were despoiling them and thus turning them against their creator.
So he wanted an army. But Alkai would never have allowed such a thing, surely.
Absolutely not. Alkai is a loving creator, and believed that a new Ark world should be the focus of his efforts, one that could give the races that had turned upon him a chance to realize that they could do better.
Vypus disagreed, I assume.
Fervently so. He set about crafting an army in a secret to prove Alkai wrong.
Of course, there are no secrets from Alkai. That's why Vypus was exiled.
Yes, but already he had spilled apart the veil in so many worlds, and now he had done the same here. The rebellion, the weakening of the veil, it had all been a clever plot to bring the Devourer out of its prison and destroy not only the Ark world, but also the multiple worlds that existed across the multiverse. He didn't just want them, though. He wanted to unseat Alkai from the throne and take over all of his creation.
He wanted to be a god.
No, he wanted to be the god. What was happening right at this moment, with the Alvairn beset by his creations and his Shadow Realm allies, it was essentially Vypus finally showing his hand.
Wait, even Infernos' part in the whole thing?
Almost exclusively Infernos' part in the war. You see, Vypus needed a scapegoat to distract from his own agenda, and what better than an all-out rebellion? Vypus had been quietly causing doubt in Infernos since the fall of Terra Firma, and this was only made worse by the seed of doubt planted by the manipulation of the Devourer when Infernos and the Fire Titans were fending off his influence during the making of the world.
So all the time the war was going on and Infernos believed he was leading the rebellion to save the world from falling into the hands of the mortals,
he was being used like a puppet by Vypus and the Devourer. And even now, despite the setback caused by Chronotris' time rift, Vypus was using Infernos to his advantage, by using the one thing that Infernos cared most about.
Fithora. Was it Vypus who orchestrated Fithora's murder of her father?
Pretty much everything that had happened so far was all cleverly planned. Thor's murder, the theft of the Crucible of Souls, and even the attack on the Alvairn. But it wasn't just that the Alvairn were having trouble with the Fell Titans and the Shadow Beasts. A Titan encampment in the northwest had been fighting them off for days. Renegade and Loyalist had allied for survival. At the same time as the Alvairn had been attacked, Infernos and Ada had arrived at this encampment during another assault by the rampaging Shadow Beasts.
How have these creatures managed to get through the veil?
Well, it seems as though dear Vypus was successful.
What are you laughing about? These are abominations. This world was meant to be free from their presence.
Dear Infernos, I'd have thought you'd welcome more soldiers.
Soldiers, yes. Not these things. What is Vypus playing at? I did not give permission to use creatures from the Shadow Realm.
You truly think Vypus answers to you? That's adorable.
Lord Infernos has returned. Push the offensive. We can't let him see us lacking.
What has been happening here?
No idea, my lord. They came out of nowhere whilst we were trying to claim this settlement from the loyalists. Unfortunately, we had to join forces with them.
We're not exactly thrilled either, scum.
Don't think for 1 second we'll be bound to you, Infernos. Once these creatures have been routed, we will be taking back what's ours.
I really don't care what you think. I have more important things to do. I'll crush you later.
Such bravado. Truly, it makes me laugh. And also a little sick. Disperse. For now, you will be summoned when you are needed.
You can command them.
They are the minions of my master. They will do as I tell them.
So then who told them to attack my warriors?
Have you ever thought that maybe it isn't about you at all? Your ego is astonishing. So, what will you do about them?
We should wipe them out, my lord. But a few of them saved our warriors' lives.
We have more important things to attend to. They can die another day.
This isn't over, traitor. But Alkai calls us to arms elsewhere. You'll get yours when Alkai deems it so. We move south!
Wait, Infernos just let them go?
He was more interested in finding Vithora, and he wanted to confront Vypus about what had just happened. But Adar had other ideas.
You loyalists sicken me. Die!
What is the meaning of this? I gave an order.
And I told you I don't answer to you. And you should be thankful. I've saved you from dealing with more enemies.
But we would have died if it weren't for that.
Who exactly told you that you could speak, Grunt?
You will stay your hand from my warriors. The next one will find its mark in your face.
I will do as I please. Do not think I can't snuff you out like a candle.
I didn't realize that Infernos even cared for his warriors.
Without warriors, Infernos had no army. It wasn't caring so much as trying to keep his warriors loyal to him. If he'd allowed her to kill that warrior, the others may have decided to turn on him, which would have left him at the severe disadvantage against the loyalists and the Alvairn.
Talking of the Alvairn, how were they holding up at this point?
Oh, they were fighting hard, but many had already fallen. Indeed, they may not have survived much longer, but in those moments when their lines were weakened, an explosion of light cascaded around them, and a familiar face appeared, firing rapid arrows of pure light into the ranks of the enemy.
Aim for the eyes! These creatures are vulnerable there!
Atreyu, where have you been?
You're what we call a jammy get! You hurt him! Strike the eyes!
You have exquisite timing, young one.
With renewed power, the Alvairn and the loyalists began to turn the battle around. And within a few minutes, their enemies were either felled or retreating in great numbers.
Alkai certainly has good timing. So in the aftermath of that battle, there must have been a great deal of elation.
Having Atreyu back amongst them and routing the dark forces that had almost defeated them was certainly relieving. But they still needed to find Ckegdromas.
It is good to have you back with us, Atreyu.
Brother, I am so glad you're all right.
We didn't know whether you had been captured or worse.
Oh, my friends, I've seen such wonders, but we don't have time to rest yet. Ckegdromas has been taken by Vypus. He plans on draining Ckegdromas of their darker self and using it to empower more of his creations. He seeks to destroy everything and reconquer many worlds throughout the multiverse. He is working exclusively for the great enemy. He always has been. I have been given a solemn task to bring him to judgment, but we must move quickly. He almost has what he needs, and he is not the only agent of the great enemy that is on this plane.
Then we must move. Isirathon, how long will it take to heal our forces?
Not long, but last rites must be observed for those who have fallen.
I will ensure it, but it will take time that we don't have.
Do what you can. I'll use as much of my power as I can to hasten us to our quarry.
Chronotris used all the remaining power he could muster and managed to slow down time enough for all he needed to be done. But he was greatly fatigued afterwards. Thankfully, Atreya managed to grant a bit of extra power to Chronotris for the rescue ahead.
Did they make it in time? To save Ckegdromas, I mean.
Well, there were complications, but we shall continue this at the library later.
I hope this little gift for the exhibition will bring it blessing.
Ooh.
And if the Emperor is willing, perhaps a generous donation of seeds and workers to help restore some more of the forest.
This is for the reforestation efforts. And thank you. We will ensure it gets a good place of honor among the other works.
Thank you so very much, Lord Archivist. This will certainly help.
What is that there?
It is a representation of Atreyu and his last act.
What was his last act?
That we shall discuss after we have paid a visit to Mr. Greg's liquor stall.
Mr. Greg? Still that legacy endures. The one who made Titan mead the most sought-after beverage throughout the Empire. Please tell me we're going to sample some of that. I haven't had a bottle of that in, nearly 5 years.
Sample it? My dear friend, we're going to buy as many bottles as we can. Some for the exhibition, and of course, a few for ourselves. And with what I'm going to tell next, I think we're going to need it. The next part of this story is perhaps one of the saddest tales of all, but it's also a key part in the events that lead up to the end of the world as it was.
You're going to make me emotional again, aren't you?
Let's go get those bottles. Oh, the confectionery goods stall, still open. Let's get a few of those cinnamon swirls that everyone seems to like.
Now that's a fantastic idea. I do love a nice cinnamon swirl. Is it finished yet?
The power of the Punisher is all inside here. But now what?
Marvelous. Now we just need to get to my tower, and from there our work can begin. Finally, the power I need to reconquer the worlds. Thank you for your cooperation, Fathora. It'll be remembered when I rule.
Reconquer?
What better way to stop the Ark world from being given to the mortals than by eradicating them from existence entirely? But first, I will destroy the Alvairn. They have been a menace for too long.
I never agreed to that.
Don't be so foolish. You yourself have said how wicked and corrupted the mortal races are. You've seen it for yourself. You knew exactly what we needed to do, whether you admitted it or not. Did you or did you not murder your own father to take his power?
Did you not kill scores of loyalist titans in this war for your darling Infernos' vision?
That was different.
No, no, it really isn't. Your war has always been about stopping the mortals getting this world. And now you suddenly decide to have some sort of conscience?
What you are proposing is genocide. Multiverse-wide genocide. We only went to war to keep our home.
And look what you've already done to achieve that goal. You are no different from me, except of your lack of vision. A multiverse without mortals, without wars, death, murder, pollution. All the things that mortals have done will be erased. We could rule the multiverse as we wanted. We'd never have to bow to the mortals ever again. New worlds. A new order. One where the Titan rules unchallenged. Isn't that what you and your dear Infernos wanted?
Not like this. This would tear apart the very fabric of reality. We only ever wanted one home, to live in peace without having to watch whilst mortals destroyed it. We never wanted to be Alkai. We just wanted to settle and make homes, families. We just wanted to be heard.
Well, now you have. By me. And as long as you follow my benevolent rule, you will never know suffering again.
My Lord Vypus, Infernos is approaching with a strange female entity, and the Alvairn are on our eastern border and closing fast.
Excellent. Everything is going according to plan. Make ready to march for my tower. Your betrothed is nearby. Why don't you go and greet him?
What about them?
I'm sure you can find a creative solution to get rid of what's left.
My beloved will know of your plan.
Oh, I'm counting on it.
You know, he's going to betray you, right? Why do you do anything he says?
I'm sorry it had to come to this. Go to your allies. Tell them what Vypus plans. I only ever wanted to save this world, but this changes nothing. I will still help my beloved to do what needs to be done. This is the only mercy I will show you. We will claim this world.
You have been listening to Legend of Khampiohn, the Genesis era. Non-profit fan-based D&D fan-based audio drama written by Brad J. Taylor and D.T. Prater, inspired by the unpublished works of Ruechelle, featuring Thomas Avenger as the Old Archivist and Infernos, T.J. Crovo as the Young Archivist of Vypus, Andrew Lovato as Angler and Chronotress, Militia Coach as a Trader, my Torturer, Elder White Stag and Shadow Fiends, Scassa Scarletti as a Seraphon, Actash as yours truly, and Spymaster Jarrett, Sarah Rosina Winkler as Ada, Raven Anderson as Weapon Vendor, Renegade Titan Warrior, Loyalist Water Titan Leader, and Shadow Fiends, Toast waffles as Atreyu and fruit and veg gender. Chris Haywell as fish vendor. Oyster cleric and loyalist air titan warrior. Frederick Verhen as loyal jewelry vendor. Loyalist fire titan. Leader Alvairn, archer leader, renegade titan commander, and Bell Titan scout. Brad J. Taylor as Fonor, Alvairn battle sergeant, renegade titan, titan leader, Fell Titan and Shadow Fiends. Scott Wolnowski as loyalist spirit chain leader, loyalist of time leader, and Shadow Fiend. Produced by Bumble Bear Creations. Directed by Khampiohn Universe. In association with Perfect Dragons Radio. And cast in Arrow Productions and Dracon Rose Productions. Enjoying the story so far? Why not leave us a rating on Spotify and subscribe on YouTube? Or write us a review on Apple Podcasts or Podchaser. All links are in the description.
In a different time, a different universe.
There are 3 paths presented to you.
Dice Tower Theater presents Dawn of Dragons, a fantasy audio drama.
Ambush!
For all intents, I should have you exiled.
Time to meet.
The Sunless.
Our young heroes bound by love and kinship are forced on a quest to discover the truth behind the magic of dragons and seek those that stole it before their world itself is destroyed by the growing power of the Dark Army.
Come with us. Don't just wait here for death.
I won't lose you, my friend.
Take us below them.
Hold on.
You better answer me.
What was your name again?
The blue flame has the great risk, correct?
Are you sure, Sophie? I foresee a path you can understand, let alone tread, but you will have to walk yourself.
I am no stranger to being alone. I know it better than anything else.
Dice Tower Theater, a Good Hand production, wherever you find your favorite podcasts.
Wake, and remember the first thing you sense as your first clue.